Isn't it strange to you that humanity's biggest mission is in trying to figure out what life is? Where do we come from? What is existence? How did everything start? I mean, this should be the topic that's popular every day. What is this? Let's not pretend as if it's not strange that you are alive. That is strange. Really strange. You are alive, bro. You can pause this video and think about it for 10 seconds. You are alive. Isn't it strange? Isn't it strange that people are not asking themselves why they are alive? Instead, people pretend as if everything is normal. You work a job you don't really love and no questions asked. You get married, no questions asked. You go to church, no questions asked. Get into relationships, no questions asked. Like, you don't sit by yourself and really and really question everything. Like, what is this, bro? It's strange that that's not encouraged. It's strange that that's looked at as a mental illness. Like, the moment you try to ask the right questions, the moment you get diagnosed with some form of mental illness. Isn't this the biggest topic to talk about as a society? Where do we actually come from? Forget the religion that you were indoctrinated to believe. Forget all the brainwashing. Forget all the lies that you've been told. Forget all the things you've been taught at school. Think like a child. Think like a child who's never been taught anything. What is this? That's really important to understand. I do believe that I deserve to understand what the heck this is. And I act like I deserve to understand what this is than to pretend as if I understand. I don't want to pretend as if I understand. I want to really understand what it is. I don't want to believe something because everyone believes it. You just believe in something because it's popular. No, I want the real truth, and I believe 100% that I deserve it. It's so strange that we exist and we're not asking the most important question. Like, mainstream media is not addressing the biggest problems of existence. On the news, they just talk about some wars. You're like, yeah, we get it. America is fighting with Russia. Russia is fighting with Ukraine. Yeah, we get it. There's war in Gaza and all. But what is this? We get it. There's wars everywhere. We get it. People get killed everywhere. We get it. People get betrayed. We get it. But what is this? Isn't that the most important topic to have? Really? That's really the most important topic to discuss. We get the best philosophers to discuss what they actually think is going on. You get me? Just kidding. But seriously, man, I mean, of course, I would love to discuss what I think is going on with people that are respected in our society and all of that. But you know how this world works. But the point that I'm trying to make is that it's weird that we're not having these discussions. At school, no one is asking themselves what's going on. I've never been asked by a teacher what I think is going on. Never. They just tell you what they think is going on or what they've been told to tell you is going on. That's it. They don't ask you, write an essay about what you think life is, what you think you come from. Like, they don't even encourage that. You're like, but that's important. I need to know. I deserve to know. Everyone deserves to know. So that shows you that something is wrong. Really wrong. You can't find yourself in a place, bruh, and asking questions about where you come from isn't encouraged. I'm telling you, that's proof that something is wrong. Someone asked me if I watched the TV series Silo. It's called Silo, but it's Silol. Okay, so these people find themselves inside this large structure. They grew up inside. They were told that if they go outside, they're gonna die. They don't know how they got there. They don't know anything about their history, basically. They just grew up there. They have their own laws and their own rules. Asking questions is discouraged. Like the moment you start asking questions, there will be people who will be against that. There will be people who will be like, no, chill. Don't be asking questions. If you want to go outside, that's not encouraged. They will try whatever to make you scared to go outside. Isn't that what's happening? I was having a conversation with this other guy. I was telling him something very important, and this is very important. Pay attention to what I'm going to say now. I was telling the guy that, because he was saying that we must just live life, like we're here to just enjoy and all of that. And I said, there are people in this world that see beyond what a lot of people can see. And because of that, they are never satisfied with what you think you know. Because they can see beyond what is already believed. These people usually don't function well in society because everyone is satisfied with what they know. But their hunger is deep. So they don't function very well, and some of them end up believing they have mental illnesses. Some of them end up believing they are weak, but they don't realize that their hunger is deep. So you might be one of those people looking at yourself and be like, oh, there's something wrong with me. Why is my brother not asking questions? It means that I'm weak or whatever. Like, it has nothing to do with that. Like, people don't think, bro. They just don't think. You think. So don't ever feel bad for being a deep thinker, because that's what you are. At the end of the day, that's what you are. No one should ever make you feel bad for that. So after philosophizing for so many years, trying to figure out what reality is, communicating with different people, it's kind of hot. I shouldn't be wearing this. So after asking myself the deepest questions about existence and having deep conversations with a lot of people, and I've spoken with a lot of people about existence, I would say there's nothing wrong with believing. Okay, before I tell you, I want y'all to picture how life started. I would like you to tell me actually in the comments, how do you think life started? How is this environment suitable for life? How did consciousness develop? But the most important question that I want you to ask you right now is, if you were God, how would you know you're God? This question I've asked I've asked this question before, but I want us to explore the answers more deeply today. If you were God, how would you know? How would you know that you're God? Would you know that you're God because you would have created everything? You'll have created planets, you'll have created the stars, you'll have created the moon, you'll have created animals, humans, everything. That's how you know that you're God. There's still a problem. How would you know where you come from? So okay, fine, you've created this place, whatever. How do you know where you come from? How do you know that your thoughts are your own? Where do your thoughts where like how do you even think? How did you first become conscious? How do you know that you were not programmed to be you? You're not just a program that thinks that it's God. It's a very important question. How do you know that you're God? The reason why I'm asking you this question is because no one dares to stand in front of everyone and say they are God. And you might say, that's crazy. Like, why would someone claim to be God? That's blasphemous. But I want you to think deeply about what I'm about to tell you. You're conscious. You're having an experience. You can dream. You don't know when you're dreaming that you're dreaming. You just think that you're this. Whatever you are in a dream that you'll be having, that's what you think that you are. Until you wake up and realize that you were not that. If all of that is possible, what if you are God dreaming up everything? Because I want you to think about this. I want you to think about living in a physical universe where everything that exists had to be created, right? The planets. You see how big this planet is. The rocks, everything about it, the trees and all of that. That means that it would have had to have been created. The galaxies, and we're told there's many galaxies. Maybe aliens exist. Maybe there've been many civilizations that have lived on Earth. Maybe some of us were not really. I mean, some of them were not really like us. Like they were not really human. But how do you create that? How did God become powerful enough to be able to create all of that? I mean, you've been here for how long? Maybe you've been here for 25 years, you've been here for 30, you've been here for 40. Can you really create something close to what people believe God has created? And why are you not able to do that as a conscious being? What if nothing was created the way that you think it was? What if all of it was a dream and God is the dreamer and there is no one to tell him that is God? Because he's dreaming up everything. So really it's up to him to actually wake up and realize that he's God. And maybe as you continue to become enlightened, maybe that's what you will realize. Like when you reach your final form, you actually realize that you're God. You just didn't think that you were. And you didn't think that you were because you believed in the dream itself. You looked at it as reality. You didn't look at it as a dream. So you believed in the things that were happening in the dream. Every BS that you had to go through in the dream, you took it seriously. Every problem that you've ever had to face in the dream, you took it seriously. What if the final step is realizing that you're God? I've done a lot of work, man, trying to figure out what this is, and I can tell you that I do have a deep feeling that I'm God. Like that feels real. As blasphemous as that may sound, I do feel that I'm God. Not the demiurge, the God that religious people believe in. No, 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 no. But I believe that I'm consciousness itself, and everything that I've had to witness, everything that I've had to think, everything that I've ever had to feel has been happening inside my mind. So yes, you can say this camera exists, but my final truth is that it exists in my mind. It doesn't exist outside of my mind. Like everything that exists in my mind, not outside of my mind. It's just that I got lost in my own imagination. You see, when I first became conscious, that's assuming that time exists. I started to ask questions right away, and because I didn't understand what I was, I didn't know the difference between what was real and what was imagined. Right? So I'm asking questions and I make up answers, and those answers became reality itself. You see? So I kept on doing that to a point that I forgot completely where it all started. Ever started to think about things, right? You just start to think about things in general, and you end up forgetting how you started thinking about these things. So yeah, you start imagining things, you start asking questions, you come up with some answers, but you don't know the difference between things that are imagined and things that are real, things that are made up and things that are real. So you're just asking questions, coming up with answers, and that's how you created the universe. Because you were asking questions, where do I come from? Then you start to think, where do I come from? Oh, I must have been created. Who created me? A God. Is there anyone else who exists? Okay, there must be people who exist, or something similar to me that exists. I just have to go and look for it. So you're creating it, and then you find that there is people that you meet. Okay, there's people that I meet, but what about beings that are not like us? What about beings with tails? And then you meet these beings with tails. You meet monkeys, you meet giraffes, you meet you know what I'm saying? You creating all of this bit by bit. You're creating it because that's your truest power. It's the ability to create something out of nothing through imagination. The problem is that you don't know the difference between what you've created out of your imagination and real reality. Yeah. So you just keep on imagining things, and these things start manifesting the same way that you do in your dreams. And like I told you, that we already have evidence that your mind can create things out of nowhere, and they exist in the time that you created. Like it's like time doesn't even exist in your dream. You can create a car, and that car is there, and it's dope, right? If you find that it's a dope car, like it's a car that you've never even seen in real life. You made it up in your own mind. So what if that's what you've been doing? What if God is the dreamer of reality, and you've been dreaming reality all along, and you don't know that because you are believing in the story? So you are believing in the things that you've made up. That would be like if you started to imagine something happening, right? Something bad, for an example. Let's say you imagine that someone stole from you and you took them to court, and now you're in court and you're trying to win the case. You might even not feel good because it feels real. Like your mind doesn't even know the difference between what's real and what isn't. So you are in court, you are trying to win a case, and it feels real. Like it feels so real that you kind of like forget that it isn't. You get what I'm saying? So can you imagine if you became conscious and you started to imagine that? Let's just say you became conscious and you didn't know anything and you started to imagine that. Wouldn't you feel like it's real and it's not imagined? Because you don't know enough to even realize that you might have been imagining everything. Solipsism suggests that there is only one thinking mind, and it's your own mind. At first, the concept of solipsism will sound crazy. Like, what the hell? But what if it was true? What if solipsism was true? What would it mean? What would it mean about death? What would it mean about life? What would it mean about bad experiences that we're having? What would it mean about anything? You are the only conscious being in the universe. What it will mean is that you have more power than you think. And maybe the reason why you feel that you're not in control is because you don't know the truth about yourself. Meaning that to truly free yourself is to know the truth about yourself. And to know the truth about yourself, you really need to take a leap of faith here. If you were the only conscious being in the universe, that's so damn crazy to believe. It will mean that you have to take a leap of faith and be like, okay, I am the only one. People might say you are a narcissist for thinking that. Of course you're a narcissist, right? Because you are selfish. You think that you're the only one who exists. But listen, I was telling someone this actually. I was like, most of the most horrible people that I've known, that have done horrible things, that have caused real suffering in the world, they were not solipsists. They were just narcissists. Narcissists do not think that other people don't exist. No. They believe 100% that other people exist. They just don't care about other people. You see? So if you're a solipsist, you're going to look at everyone as part of yourself. You're a deep thinker. Deep thinkers are not narcissists. You can't be a deep thinker and be a narcissist. It doesn't work. Because you are able to see things from different perspectives. So the truth that you will find out when you are looking at things from other people's perspective will not allow you to be a narcissist. So if you are a solipsist, you can't be a narcissist. Because that will mean that everyone is you. You understand what I'm saying to you? That will mean that that girl that has cheated on you, that you hate, she's you. That guy who made fun of you and you feel like he's mean, he's you. Barack Obama is you. Jay-Z is you. Puff Daddy is you. That's what it will mean. So how do you hate yourself? Why not focus on trying to understand yourself? Why ain't you trying to understand the Puffy aspect of you, the Jay aspect of you, the Kanye aspect of you, the Benedictine aspect of you? Because here's the thing, everyone can be understood. Everyone can be understood. Like, what's lacking in the world is understanding. People don't understand one another. We just want to hate. So if I'm looking at everyone as part of me, how do I hate them? How do I become selfish to them? It gets to a point where I'm so damn conscious that I am able to heal The aspects of me that are broken through consciousness, through awareness itself. Okay, this is the problem here. This is the problem with this person. They need the truth. The truth is going to heal them. It's the lie that broke them. They are me. Because in a dream, everyone is you. So that means that monster that's been chasing you, maybe you need to stop one day and be like, you're me. And I cannot run away from you anymore. I cannot be scared of you anymore. I cannot let you make me suffer anymore. If there's a problem, let's face it now. And you deal with that part of you. Because where does it come from? What if solipsism was really the final truth? That you are actually God. Like all BS aside, you God. Forget the storyline. Forget what you call the past. Forget what you think is happening in another country. No, nothing is happening. Everything that is happening is things that you're aware of. If you don't become aware of something, it's not happening. It never happened, basically. So you could try to live in your own imagination and imagine things happening, and you feel the way that you feel about it, but you find that nothing is actually happening. So you could think that something is happening to your brother right now. Your brother is not there with you right now. So you're thinking your brother is at school or your brother is at work. But what if it's not? What if as soon as he walks out the door and you don't see him, that's it. It's you know what I'm saying? Like that's it. Like what you're seeing is what exists. So he's gonna come back, and when he reappears in your awareness, that means that he's. It doesn't mean that he was somewhere doing something. No. He's only there when you see him. It only exists when you see him. I remember there's this question that has been asked that people, I don't know if they know how to answer this question. Like if a tree falls in the wood, like if a tree falls, right? And there's no one to hear the sound, does it still make a sound? So a tree falls on its own. Does it make a sound if there's no one to hear the sound? And I think the answer is clear. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't make a sound. And it doesn't even fall. Like I'm willing to go that far and say it doesn't even fall. So if you find the tree that seemed to have fallen, it didn't actually fall. It is the way that you found it, and it didn't fall. It's just the way that you find it. It took a different, you know what it's like? It's like if you're drawing something, right? So you draw a tree that's standing, and then on the next page you draw the same tree, but then it says falling down. It doesn't mean that the tree fell. No, it didn't fall. At all, it didn't fall. You understand? Like this is deep. This is philosophy on its highest level right now. This is philosophy at its highest level. Because we can't understand reality unless we do real philosophy, until we question everything that we think we know or that we think we understand. So to do real philosophy, that means you really need to question everything that you think you know, everything that you were programmed to believe, everything that you think makes sense. So what if it's always been you, the only one who exists, and you're not even a human? You're just dreaming that you're a human and you're believing the story. What if that's like understanding that's what's going to liberate you, and what's keeping you in this prison that you feel you are in is not understanding the truth? We're not brave enough as people. Like you're not brave enough to stand in front of people and say, I want to know what is going on. I'm not going to go on strike because I want to get a job. Like let's put all that aside. I'm not going to go on strike because, well, some people are homophobic. I'm going to put that aside. I'm not going to go on strike because some people are more privileged than me. Let's put that aside. I'm not going to go on strike because, well, there's some services that we're not getting. I'm going to put that aside. I'm gonna go on strike because I want to understand what the heck is going on. I'm gonna be that brave. Like no matter how crazy I may seem, I need to know what the heck is going on. It's me versus reality right now. What is reality? I'm gonna be as honest as possible with myself. I'm gonna be as honest as possible with what seems to be other people. Why is that wrong for me to stand up and say this is not making sense to me, and I'm not gonna pretend as if it does? It's not making sense, and I'm not gonna go around pretending to know what is going on or pretending as if this is making sense, even if it isn't making sense to me. I'm gonna be honest. If it's not making sense to me, it's not making sense to me, and I'm not gonna tell you that it does, even if it isn't making sense to me. Even if you're gonna look at me as if I'm a bad person, it isn't. You gotta be operating at that level of bravery. So if what you end up discovering, or what you end up believing, or if you take a leap of faith, you find yourself in a place where you feel that you're God, then you can look at yourself that way. I remember Kanye was asked a question in an interview. They're like, so who do you think you are? And he was like, I thought I told you who I am, a God. The confidence, bro. I was like, this is crazy. Like the way he says it, in fact, he didn't even say God, he'd say a God. Like, I thought I told you I am a God. It's like, damn, here's something else. But yeah, it needs to reach that level because no one has told you who you are. So if that's what makes sense to you, that's what makes sense to you. You can look at yourself as a God and say, yeah, I am. As blasphemous as I might sound, yeah, I do believe deep down in my heart that I'm not sinning. I'm not, even if I'm offending someone by believing that, I do have every right to. This is me. I'm conscious. I'm taking this whole reality as my responsibility, and I feel that I'm right. I'm not looking at it as if I'm a victim of it. I look at it as I'm a boss of this. I created this. This is mine, all of it. That's how I look at it. Am I bad for thinking like that? If you think that I'm bad, you're bad. Because what am I supposed to think? Am I supposed to feel small? Am I supposed to allow other people to control me, to tell me what they think this is? So even if I'm making it up that I'm God, it's still fine because no one has told me that what I really am. So I'm free to think anything. That's why even though I like debating with people who don't believe what I believe, in the end, what I tell them is that you're free to believe whatever you want to believe at the end of the day. You could believe that AI is God if you want to believe that. It's fine. It's up to you. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one should force you to believe what you don't believe, and no one should make you feel guilty for believing what you believe. Even if I make some people feel guilty for what they believe, it doesn't mean that they should allow themselves to feel guilty. It's like, believe what you believe. That's why I do like responding to people who don't believe what I believe, and I even say, let's debate. We can do a live. Let's debate. Let's see what makes sense. Let's see if you make more sense than me. And maybe even if the truth doesn't make more sense than a lie, because that can even happen. Like, reality is very paradoxical. So you might find that what makes sense isn't actually the truth. You find that the truth is just so damn absurd that it actually sounds stupid, like when you talk about it. You see? So I can't blame you for believing what you believe. Besides, none of it is your fault. If you want to believe what you believe, you exist. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what is going on. So if maybe believing what you believe is giving you comfort, then it's beautiful in a way. But us, people like me, we believe that it's important to think as hard as we can about what is going on, and to make our conclusions after thinking a lot, after questioning everything, not just believe what I'm told and just live life based on what I was told. I'm going to be trying to figure out what might actually be going on. It's a difficult way to live life, but you can get used to it and continuously ask questions and evolve in that way. And I believe that that's the best way to live life. So I live life that way. So I'll call myself a god because I've never met anyone who really seemed like he or she is a god. So why should I not think that I am? I know that I'm conscious. I'm not an NPC. That I know. And I told y'all that I don't believe consciousness can be created. I think consciousness is something that has always existed. Like, you can't create awareness. How do you even create awareness? I think you can do all the math that you want to do, but you're never creating awareness. You can create something that mimics consciousness, but it won't be something that is actually conscious. I can imagine myself on Dr. Phil. Him saying, so really, bro, like, you think you God? And I'll be like, yeah, I think I'm God. I think the truth, no matter what it is, it's not going to be something that is acceptable in this reality. Like, the truth, no matter what it is going to be something that is so damn crazy. It's like, to truly understand the truth, you kind of have to be crazy, right? Like, it can't be something normal. Like, what makes sense in this realm to believe isn't actually the truth. Like, the truth is something stranger, like crazier than you could ever even imagine. Try to look at it that way, than to think the truth is something obvious. I mean, what is considered truth in this realm is not even remotely close to what the real truth is. And it's never been proven to be true. You know, when someone makes a claim, and it seems to make sense when they make that claim, but then they're unable to provide real evidence. They just give you excuses after excuses. Like, if, for example, someone tells you that there's a God who created heaven and earth, the earth is flat, there's only going to be 144,000 people who are going to go to heaven, all of that, you know, they didn't predict technology. You'd be like, a lot of things are just wrong with these stories. So wrong that to believe these stories, you just have to be like, you know what, I don't know what's going on. Let me just believe these stories, and let me just stick to these stories, and it's kind of fun anyway. So that's the reason why you believe, than to believe because it actually makes sense. So you just be like, I'm just gonna have faith, because what option do I have here? I don't know if I can think deeply about what might actually be going on, and I start gaining insights. Like, I don't think I can do that. So let me just stick to this, because this makes sense at my level of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? But I think the final truth is that there is only one mind. One mind. One consciousness. And everything that is happening within consciousness. So, like, there's nothing that is happening that you are unaware of. Like, I would look at that as the final truth. However, it appears as if there are things that are happening that you're not aware of. And that is why sometimes I try to talk to you like a human, right? I'm like, yeah, of course, as a human, I'm supposed to think there are things that are going on behind the scenes. So I must attempt to explain life from the perspective of a human, because that also helps people awaken. But what if the final truth is that everything is imagined, meaning that you can never see something that you have not imagined? So, which means that nothing is happening until you imagine it. And you witnessing it is you imagining it, but you don't view it that way. So when something happens, it's not happening because it was caused by something. It's actually your imagination that created it. So you witness what you've created in real time, but not know that you created it. How deep is that? Because here's the thing, when you're dreaming, it feels like there are things that are happening behind the scenes, right? If you meet a nice girl in your dream, well dressed, smelling nice, what are you supposed to think? She buffed, she woke up in the morning, she buffed, she wore this clothes that she bought somewhere, she has her own story. You get what I'm saying? She was born, she bought the perfume, she feels, good, she has parents, she has siblings, but does she? Or she started to exist when you saw her? As crazy as that may sound, what if that's really the truth? She started to exist when you saw her, when you imagined her. So there is no background story. But if you want to get the background story, here's what will happen. You start to imagine the background story. So when you talk to her, you're like, oh, where do you come from? She's like, oh, I'm from Cleveland. Oh, you're from Cleveland. How many sisters do you have? How many brothers do you have? She tells you. You are imagining her responses. She invites you to her house. Her house didn't exist before you spoke to her. So when you go to her house, you imagining it in real time. How crazy is that? Like, this is philosophy at its highest level, man. It's like when you try to question reality at the highest level than to make assumptions, because what we do as humans is that we make assumptions. Most of the time we don't. Like, here's the thing, to survive in this realm, you don't actually need to be a deep thinker. You just need to make assumptions that are going to help you survive. That's all. That's all. To even have a healthy mind, you can make assumptions that will lead to you having a healthy mind. You can tell yourself lies, like a lot of lies, that will lead to you having a healthy mind. Because here's the thing, if you are the only conscious being in the universe, if you are God, it means everything is made up. So you can tell yourself whatever you want to tell yourself about reality, about anything, basically. You can become delusional, and that will still help you if you are delusional in a way that helps you. Crazy is that. But I do see the importance of taking it one step at a time without telling yourself anything that you don't believe to be true or anything that doesn't make sense to you, right? So you take it one step at a time, one step at a time. What's going to happen is that you will evolve faster than if you tell yourself things that just don't make sense, that don't make sense to you, right? Just because you're trying to cope. But if you're like, you know what, here's what I feel is true, no matter how it makes me feel, I will not take it too damn seriously because I'm not really in control, at least in a way that I would like. So let me accept what I feel is true for now without trying to believe or forcing myself to believe what I'm being told that I must believe in order to have a better life. You'd be like, if I think we're in a whole room that this is what I think, I'm not going to say I'm in heaven. If I think I'm in a bad situation, and that's what I think, I'm not going to think I'm not in a bad situation. And just like I told you before that, I don't think you create reality by lying to yourself. I think you could tell yourself any kind of lies, but what you truly believe will prevail, right? So if you are the only conscious being in the universe, what you believe will prevail in the end. So even if you tell yourself lies, it's the same as if, for example, you're a religious person and you get sick, like really sick, and people pray for you, but then it doesn't work. You're a man of faith. You've been going to church all your life. You've been giving offerings. You've been Like everything that they say you must do, you do it. But in the end, you're gonna go to a hospital. Why? It's because deep down you just don't believe that prayer works. Because if prayer works, you don't need to go to a hospital. I don't remember in the Bible where it says Jesus had to go to a hospital because dude was sick. No, dude. Um, I don't even think dude ever got sick. Just crazy. But there needs to be intellectual honesty when you are dealing with life. Because I think that's the only way that you can truly wake up. I think that's what you need, basically, is to wake up. I think you're in a fallen state of consciousness and you don't know how to wake up. And because you're powerful, you as consciousness, you are very powerful. You can keep on creating stories that you end up believing. Like you can do that forever, right? You can keep on creating stories that you end up believing forever. You can end up dreaming forever. So my channel is about waking people up. I'm saying, look, forget the story, forget the BS that's happening in your life. You need to realize one thing, which is just your God, which is that you're God. So keep on waking up. Do not look at yourself as something small. Do not believe in the stories. On the last video that I published, I said reality is not real. Why take it seriously? It's a dream. It's an illusion. It's all made up. As hard as it is to believe that, but what if that's really the final truth? That it's all made up, all of it. Some people believe that we live in a simulation. And I would say to them that there's nothing wrong with believing that. Because what they're basically saying is that the world is not real. And that's exactly what I'm saying, that it is not real. So we might actually be believing the same thing, but our background is not the same. So let's say you believe a lot in science and all of that, then you might think that we live in a simulation. But let's say I'm just a philosopher who, believes that consciousness is fundamental, then I might just look at life as a dream. But it's the same thing. You get what I'm saying? Because dreams are a copy of this. Like when you dream, you are actually dreaming about some of the things that you've experienced in this world, right? That's why it's not easy to even realize that you're dreaming when you're dreaming, because the world that you find yourself in is very similar to this world. You see, maybe it would be much easier for you to realize when you're dreaming that you're dreaming if you just find yourself in a world that's not similar to this world at all, and you were dealing with unfamiliar faces, right? Then maybe it will be much easier for you to realize that. But no, dreams that we have are dreams that are related to what happens in our own lives. You dream of a snake, you have seen a snake here. You dream of a girl, you have seen a girl here. You dream of a monster, you have seen something similar to it here. Maybe you've seen the monster in a movie. Maybe you've imagined that monster when, because we do imagine things all the time. So you imagine that monster in your mind, like I told you, that it doesn't actually know the difference between what it's imagined and what is real or what is happening. So if right now, I want us to do this experiment. Try to think that you are a millionaire. You have the cars that you want. I mean, if that's what you want, actually. Or try to think that you are exactly where you want to be in life. You have the things that you want. Try to imagine those things. Try to imagine you having those things. Try to imagine all of that for at least 1 minute. You can pause this video. Try to imagine you having the life that you want. You will start to feel better. After that, you can start to imagine yourself in the worst situation possible. You will start to feel bad. Try to imagine yourself having an argument with someone who doesn't understand you. You're not going to feel good. So your mind doesn't really know the difference between what you're imagining and what is actually happening. because all of it is the same thing. What you're imagining and what's happening is actually the same thing. So if you imagine a monster, you can dream about that monster. You see? This is deep. So you can say we live in a simulation. I don't have a problem with that. And I will make videos where I talk about why this is a simulation, because I'm trying to accommodate everyone. We just come from two different backgrounds. So yes, you can look at this as a simulation. You can look at this as a dream. But the point that I'm trying to make on this video is that it is not real. It's all imagined by God, and God is you. It's not an easy thing to realize. It's not an easy thing to come to terms with. But you are the final truth. Forget the stories that you've been told about existence. Forget all of these stories. They're just stories. Nothing less, nothing more. They're just stories. I mean, as God, what are you supposed to do? I want you to answer that question. Let's say you are the only conscious being in the universe, you exist. What are you supposed to be doing? What are you actually supposed to be doing? This is a very serious question. What do you do as God? Do you just chill and be like, I'm God, and yeah, that's it. I'm God. I'm just going to be God, and that's it. What are you supposed to be doing as God? Doesn't it make sense to try to imagine yourself in different scenarios and you experience what it's like to be in these scenarios, and that will be life itself? Isn't that what you should be doing as God? If you can do it, why wouldn't you do it? Some people might say, how did we end up here? And I would say it wasn't, because here's the thing, it will seem like it's your choice as God to experience this, but I would say it's a mistake. You were trying to experiment. And I remember I gave you this example. It's like, I can't draw, right? It's like if I try to draw and I draw nonsense, it was in my intention to draw nonsense, but I can't draw what I want to draw. So I end up drawing nonsense. So I'm still learning how to draw. So that is what is happening here. I'm still learning how to create a world that is better for me. But I'm not able to now because I don't even know how I'm doing it. There are a lot of things that I'm not aware of. And one of those things is creating how I'm creating this, how my subconscious is creating this. I think life requires us to be brave, actually. I think whether we realize this or not, I think there is suffering that comes with being too comfortable or chasing comfort than chasing your truth. There's a reason why on every video that I make, I tell you, choose love over fear. Sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you want to make a certain decision or you want to take a certain action, and then you don't take it because of fear. Whether you realize it or not, I think it does something to your subconscious. Let's make a deal. Let's say from now on, because you're a deep thinker, you understand yourself more than people understand themselves, I would say you do qualify to make the decisions that you want to make and take the actions that you want to take. So let's say from now on, let's say 80% of the actions that you're going to take are actions that you really want to take, not out of fear, but out of love. Let's see what happens. Maybe it's not easy to take the right actions 100% of the time, but if you're trying, let's say 80% of the time, Because most people, they don't make the decisions that they want to make. You find that a person only makes the decision that they want to make maybe 15% of the time. Like most of the time, they're not making the decisions that they want to make. They're making the decisions that they feel they must make because they're afraid and they're trying to protect themselves. And I think that's a mistake. I think this world taught us to be fearful. And we suffer a lot because of our fears. So try that. Let's do this experiment. You try that. You make the decisions that you want to make 80% of the time. Regardless of how you feel. You know, put fear aside. Say, this is what I want to do. I'm still going to do it. I'm going to push myself to my limits and do what I want to do regardless of how I feel. So even if I feel afraid, I'm going to do what I want to do because it's what I want to do. I'm not going to let fear stop me. You know, be that brave, have that kind of heart. I would say you'll be looking at yourself as a God than to look at yourself as a human, than to look at yourself as something powerless. I have realized that this world will always try to make you afraid. It will always try to humble you, right? But what if you never allowed it to? What if you really tried your best to do what you wanted to do regardless of what what experiences the world is giving you? You're like, yeah, this world is giving me these experiences, but this is what I want to do. So I'm doing it regardless of what the world wants me to do. What do you think would happen if you lived your life like that? Because I think one of the biggest mistakes is living in fear. Being afraid won't take you anywhere at this point. I think fear will be a tool that's used to keep you suppressed, to keep you at a low state of consciousness. I don't know if there's a lot to be afraid of. Thank you all guys for watching until the end. Tell me if you've watched this video until the end in the comment. Tell me what topics you'd like me to talk about. Like the video, share the video. Tell me what parts of the videos you liked. Right? What part of the video you like. Tell me what you would like me to work on. What would you like me to change, or what would you like me to improve on my videos? I would also appreciate that. I'm a person who always likes to keep on improving, so you can tell me that, and I will listen. Thank you guys.